It's a wonderful Wednesday morning. I'm excited to be here with you. Let me tell you a story. A baby camel went up to its mother and said, "Mommy, why do we have humps on our backs?" Mother camel smiled and said, "Well, my son, our humps are there to store water so we can survive long journeys through the desert." "I see," remarked the little camel. And why do we have such long legs and rounded hooves?" Our long legs and rounded hooves are designed to help us stand and walk in the shifting sand. That's why we can move through the desert better than any other animal, his mother explained. But the little camel still had questions. What about our eyelashes? Why are they so long? Again, with the infinite patience of a loving mother, she replied, "Well, they are to protect our eyes from the swirling sands during desert storms." The little camel stood quietly for a moment, chewing on the awesome knowledge his mother had just dropped. And then he said, "So the humps are for storing water in the desert. The legs are for walking in the desert. And the eyelashes are to protect our eyes in the desert." "That's right, son," said his mother with pride. "Then what in God's name are we doing in the zoo?" he asked. You know, I often think of people like Sethiabua Ukran, who went from being a trotro mate to the CEO of the most prestigious car rental and tourism enterprise in Ghana. People like Mark Zuckerberg, who created a multi-billion-dollar empire with just a laptop. People like Dr. Daniel Macaulay, who started out selling buffruit in Labadi and now employs thousands of people across the globe in what is arguably Africa's finest shipping and logistics company, McDan Shipping. I think about these people and it becomes clear to me that all of them started out with just their brain and not much else. Just like you and I. So why are we not all millionaires and billionaires like them? Well, it's because some of us are wasting our desert skills in the zoo. God gave us all a brain, the single most sophisticated asset, tool, and weapon all rolled into one. The only thing any human ever needs to thrive and succeed in this life. Your brain holds the power to change your destiny and that of those around you. But you've got to put it to work. Becoming a success is not easy. You have to survive the difficulties of the desert in order to enjoy the pleasures of the promised land. But God has given you exactly what you need to survive in the desert. Your brain. The brain is what McDan applied to that buffruit, Zuckerberg to his laptop, and Seth to his trotro. The formula is simple. Your desert plus your brain equals your success. Okay, we've established that the only way to your success is through the desert. We've also established that you have all you ever need to survive in the desert, which is your brain. So just like the camel asked his mother, why in God's name are we still sitting in the zoo? My dear friend, we know where we want to be. We know what we must do to get there. Why are we not making the journey? Why are we still marking time every day, no closer to our destinies than we were the day before? When was the last time you did even one thing in pursuance of your dream? Why have we taken all the endless God-given potential and sat in the zoo with it for all these years? Today, let's start the journey. Let's pack our brains and venture out into the sand. It's going to be hard. We will suffer and get lost on the way, but God has already given us everything we will ever need to survive. So we will make it. My name is Kojo Yankson, and I was designed for the desert, so no zoo can hold me. Good morning, Ghana.
And I'll build around water, but with no water to drink. And that is the story of Azile, a small community or town in the western region. There, hundreds of children spend hours fighting just to fetch water each day. As part of the Joy News Safe Water Project, Justice Beidou visited the community and filed this report.
This is the Azile Lagoon in the middle of the Azile Township. It is this water resource that gives the livelihoods of many of the people here. A lot of them are fishermen and fishmongers.
Fasi, Azile Zabashiro, okay. This town sprang up around this water body. It was smaller than it is today, and we all lived by it. But as the village grew, some people moved to form the new town area. And that is how come there came a lot of pressure.
But there is an irony. This town, sitting around this water source, has no drinking water. And for years, the over 2,000 residents here struggle over a single run-down borehole.
Come on, as we're getting into the dry season, we are living in fear. No one knows what will happen. It is raining now, but we do not have water. The pipe we have here is old, and it is run down.
The scenes at the only borehole here at Azile is a painful sight to watch.
I'm concerned even more for the school children. Some of them can spend hours at the pipe from dawn. They will struggle and spend school hours waiting to get water. We are even not productive because of the lack of water, because we spend all our time looking for water.
Which at times you may reach where there is a borehole, a Veronica bucket, but there is no water in it. Due to the crucial, because if you ask somebody to go and fetch water and go and put it inside the Veronica bucket, it's a challenging thing. The person will be going there, standing there for a long time before even getting the water, and then what? At times I have to let others move to where the old town mechanism bowl is.
Azile is just one of many towns in Ghana still battling with a struggle for water. Justice Bedu, Joy News, Azile.
Oh, we have to end the bulletin, but before then, let's bring you the last one, because barring any hitch, construction for the multi-purpose youth resource center in Wa will be completed by the end of this month. Now, work on the project was expected to be completed in May 2020, but this delayed due to some constructional and administrative challenges. Deputy Chief Executive in charge of programs and operations at the National Youth Authority, Nelson Usuansa, disclosed this when he visited the construction site. Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Authority, NYA, in charge of programs and operations, Nelson Usuansa, as part of his official tour of the Upper West region, interacted with staff working at the NYA and also inspected ongoing projects embarked on by the government. One of such projects is the multi-purpose Upper West Youth Resource Center. It is being constructed by Hapke Enterprise Limited. The project was scheduled to be completed in May 2020 but was delayed owing to some constructional and administrative challenges. The NYA Deputy CEO was conducted around the site by the site engineer Adam Asana. Engineer Adam Asana gave an overview of the project.
The center is comprised of 4 stands. We have the media and the VIP stand. We have 3 spectator stands, stand A, B, and C. For stand C, that comprises of the shops. We have 4 shops and male, female washrooms. We are done with the superstructure block work, concrete works. Painting is ongoing. Basically what is left there is external painting and internal painting. And for the painting, we have done first coats for both internal and external. So what's left there is just electrical fittings. The first fixing has been done, second fixing has been done. So it's left with the last fixing. That's for stand C. So we move to stand A, which is comprised of the counseling units and offices. For that one too, it's just left with the electrical fittings. Painting has been done, first coat for both external and internal. And then we move to the VIP stand, which among all the stands has been roofed. Now for the media and the VIP lounges, they have been sealed, which initially wasn't part of the design. So now the consulting architect had to make some improvisations to seal the external roofing as well. You can see behind with the alucobond, which makes the edifice very beautiful.
Nelson Usuansa was not only impressed about the work rate of the contractor pegged at 95%, but the quality as well.
Particularly with the concrete works that have been done and some of the fittings that have also been done. And I must say that the quality of work is good. The fittings, as you're seeing, the toilets, the doors and the windows, it's quite satisfactory, and we would commend the contractor and his team for a good job done.
He is hopeful that once it is completed, it will serve the needed purpose.
It is supposed to unearth talents. There are many talents in the young people of this country, but they don't have the opportunity to unearth these talents, to grow their talents. And the talents abound in sports and in other areas. So the good news we have for the people of the Upper West and the WA in particular is that this facility goes beyond sports. We have a business incubation center here as well. We also have a mentoring and coaching center here. We have the computing center here. And we have other facilities that would all help the young people to grow.
He disclosed that this is the first phase of the project, and once it is completed, the second phase will begin. First phase of the project is expected to be completed at the end of September 2020. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
I have to say, good initiative there. But today is your birthday. One of our leading cameramen right here at Joy News, David Amwa. And this is coming from all of us. Great guy you are. Enjoy good lunch today. It's not on us, it's on you as well. Thank God also your salary has hit your bank account. So that's a good thing about it. Also from your wife, Esther J. And we all do love you. Also, Professor John Japon, you are Vice Chancellor at the University of Health and Allied Sciences. You're ardent watcher of this show. We say thank you for all your great observations and remarks you make for this show as well. And we'll just keep getting better as we improve. Thank you as well. But that's where we go for a break. When we come back, myself, Mamavi Osuabuaje, and the great man who works with Human Rights Watch, Robert Akoto Amwafo, Amnesty International, I have to say. And we'll be doing the news review next. Do stay with us.
You missed the news, but you made it in good time for the newspapers. It's a healthy, no, not a healthy Thursday, but it's a, how do we say Wednesdays? Like a cozy Wednesday? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, we can create something like that. So it's midweek, which means we've got AM Business as we do every Wednesday here on the AM show. It's brought to us courtesy EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. But that's not until after sports. Right now, though, we have to settle for the newspapers. And hopefully we can also visit our news portal, myjoyonline.com. We've got our guest doing the review with us. He's Executive Director of Amnesty International, the local chapter, Mr. Robert Amonfo. Okay, hi there. Good morning to you. Thank you again for joining us. You're doing this with us this week, really.
Yes, good morning. And I like your dress, Mama V.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And good morning, Roland.
Masa, you just joined the show where you did give shout out to Masa. Mama V, Mario, this is the life must stop. 2020 we do. Anyway.
Roland, I didn't hire you to be my personal security guard. I'm not complaining.
I'm your chaperone.
I like the shouts.
Yeah. Well, it's really a beautiful dress. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Okay, so Robert, you're going to be doing the Times, the Observer, and the BNFT. So we've also got the Daily Graphic, the Daily Statesman, the Finder. Roland's got the Custodian, and he would say the rest of the papers.
And the Dispatch.
And the Daily Guide as well.
And the rest.
Okay, so Robert, I want you to start with us. For us.
Okay. Good morning, and I have the Observer, as has been mentioned, the Ghanaian Observer, and the big story on it is exposed. NDC introduced gold royalties company deal. We also have shun those who promote ethnic settlement and division. So sentiment and division. So I think this is what I mentioned yesterday, that the press is good that we talk about the need of things being in way so that we don't have violence during the election. So it's good that the president mentioned some of these things. Yana gets applauded for peace in Gabon. It's a good thing for us to hear. We hope that he also start talking about the issues of the witchcraft accusations. So because really people respect the Yana, so we look forward for some mentions from him. President Akufo-Addo petitioned over reinstatement of Wasa Fiese Paramount Chief. Group endorses a Japa deal. That is for the front page of the Observer. And for the back page, we have Gideon Mensah move to Victoria and Man City move likely for Messi. I wanted to ask Roland, because I'm not good at sports, that is it the period when people start moving around within the
transfer? They call it the transfer window. Well, it's not. It's the same. It's the period, but for Messi, you know, Messi was taken in by Barcelona from Argentina from the age of 9. He had a problem with the spine, so by 13, he had landed in the Barcelona camp itself. They paid for all his treatment. They looked after his parents. You know, the number, because he was a child prodigy, you know. And so Barcelona is like a home. So nobody ever thought that, you know, he would ever say he wants to leave. But it's because he thinks the management of Barcelona is not in the best of shapes, the way he wants it. Yeah. So it's not like...
So essentially, you're saying Messi is a special case?
Yeah, he's not one of the usual players who's part of the transfer window, but unfortunately he is, or coincidentally, yeah.
How do you say unfortunate?
It's unfortunate, I think, for Barcelona fans especially.
It's good for some of us. We are learning some sports this morning. I'm sure Mama V has also learned one thing or two. Or you are far better than I am, Mama.
No, Mama V is a guru. Don't go there.
I beg, stay in your lane, eh? Stay in your lane.
If I could continue the times, 2 MPs clash over line of questioning of GMPC officers, which is quite unfortunate. We're expecting that they are one when these things happen, because GMPC is coming before you for us to question them and make sure that the things are in line. So it's rather unfortunate. We hope that they mend things up. We have the same story from the Observer, Wasa Yefi Chiefs, and people demo over reinstatement of Paramount Chief. We also have President inaugurate a Mejofe water supply system. We have also on page 11 of the Ghanaian Times, 35 million waste management plans to be established in the northern region. So those are what we have on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. At the back page, 2,257 farmers in Doma offered inputs, and CAP BUSS supports over 120,000 people. So those are the things I have. I think I have one more paper. I'll wait for Mama B to go, and then I will continue.
All right, let me jump in then with the Daily Graphic newspaper. On the front page of the Graphic today, KIA resumes operations. So on the front page, you'd see some of the passengers on a chartered flight arriving at the Kotoka International Airport, picture by Gabriel Ahiambo. GMPC unable to retrieve 778.6 million Ghana cedis from debts since 2015. Revelations as they appeared before the Public Accounts Committee with their challenges. PIAC Iyoko investigate infractions of Petroleum Revenue Management Act. President inaugurates Mejofe water project. Yana calls for peace, tolerance ahead of December polls. And then this is the banner headline, really. It's one of the biggest stories today. Dominance in telecommunications sector. MTN loses case against NCA. So the MTN went to court to, as it were, for a judicial review because of the ratings that the National Communications Authority has given it. It had classified MTN as the dominant player in the industry. So it classified it as a significant market player. In a ruling yesterday, the Commercial Division of the Accra High Court held that the NCA did not breach any laws throughout the processes that led to MTN being classified as SMP. The ruling by the court gives the green light to the NCA to take corrective measures against MTN in order to promote competition and protect other mobile network operators and consumers. There's a lot to the story that you can read on, but MTN, in a quick reaction, well, they say that they're studying the ruling by the court and are looking at all options available to them. The decision of the court would expand the scope of regulatory framework of the telecommunications sector, and that MTN was amendable to dialogue with the NCA over the matter. That's what I've just read as a reaction by the Corporate Services Executive of MTN, Sam Kranting, to this ruling. So we'll see if they're going to go further with their battle in court, or this is the end of this matter and they're going to be dealing with the other matters with the NCA one-on-one. But this is really huge. It's got a lot of implications. We will probably be digesting this matter a lot more in the course of our programming. But in the center spread, the Yana story is here. Yana calling for peace, tolerance ahead of the December polls. For instance, he says, finally, December 7 is almost at the corner, and my humble and persuasive call for peace is in recognition of the tumultuous period of electioneering and the palpable tension it arouses. There's a good story here. 570 girls trained in ICT in Oti region. And the CSOs urge political parties to pledge commitment to health sector. Some civil society organizations have urged political parties to demonstrate their commitment to the health sector by pledging to increase taxes on harmful commodities such as tobacco and alcohol to reduce demand and consumption. On the back page, College of Technology Education introduces 2 innovations. Some students of the Department of Electrical and Electronic Technology Education, the Faculty of Technical Education at the College of Technology Education in Kumasi have developed an automatic energy efficient system that controls the lighting in a room. The sensory device has been tested and tried out for over a year now. That's good. That's big. Congratulations to them. I hope that we can use it on a larger scale and begin to make some real money. Military Academy intake 35 graduates support psychiatric hospital. This is also another story on the back page of that paper. I guess that will be it really for the Daily Graphic. Let's quickly do the Finder newspaper, front page of the Finder. Next, NDC government will abrogate a JAPA agreement, according to Minority Leader. President Akufo-Addo cuts sword for phase 3 of water supply project for 5 districts in Volta region. NDC's gold royalty holding company targeted $1 billion private capital in 2011. Coalition launches health manifesto demanding universal coverage by 2030. And state-owned enterprises to enlist on Ghana Stock Exchange, according to the SIGA boss. The final one for me, and then I guess we can go to Roland, or Roberts will come through with his last paper. It's the Daily Statesman. Ochihine condemns attempt to mar unity between Achim-Abuakwa and Gas State. NDC hypocrisy exposed over JAPA as it fights NPP for doing what it sought but failed to do. Shun those who promote ethnic sentiment. That's a call by the President Akufo-Addo. Roland Walker and Roberts.
Right. So, Roberts, just hold on. Let me do the others, the main ones and the others. So, the main ones are the Daily Dispatch. The Daily Dispatch has on the front page, NDC guru on why the party's manifesto launch was postponed. Was having convened, I believe, on Monday.
There's a new date of September 7, which is on Monday.
No.
September
the new
7
date?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's September 7.
No, Tuesday. So, looks more like.
I think it's Monday. No.
It's Monday.
Roland Walker, it's Monday. Keep working.
Right.
It's Monday, yes.
Monday, oh, okay.
It's Monday, yes.
So, it was supposed to have been convened and then postponed again. So, but Charlie, they're telling us the reasons why. So, the guru has his picture attached. That's the NDC guru, Joshua Akamba. Newspapers, there's one time but he's NDC national organizer.
So NDC grew on why the party's manifesto launch was postponed.
Yeah. NDC proposed and sent an Ijapa-like deal to Parliament in 2011. Indeed, if you look at statement in 2011, it's in there. Impact of COVID-19 on Ghana's Parliament. And then we also have CVM on Ijapa royalties deal. Okay, on the back page, it says NDC bigwigs admits lack of proper consultation, delayed manifesto launch. Let's go to the custodian. The custodian house on the front page. NDC exposed on gold royalties deal, but minority still wobbles. MPP will grow Ghana's economy after COVID-19. And Dr. Mohammed Awal is quoted in that story. He is Minister for Business Development. And then we have the Ijapa royalties deal will transform Ghana, according to CVM. Worry not about the acronym. It's a pressure group. Razak Kojo Puku is the founder and president. MPP tax 15 CSOs on mineral revenue. On the back page, there's two stories about Meet Openyin Kwisikuma, the man behind the formation of Asante Kotoko. So sports related. Also on the side related to sports. Government to revive traditional football venues, according to the minister. I really don't know, because the Swag Park, it's almost a number of them in Dafa Park. All right. So I don't know how they're going to revive them. We need to build more of these TEFs, artificial TEFs. Talking about artificial, we have the Wembley Sports Construction Company Limited doing great work. Robert Kuma is the chief executive, as usual. Roberto, please continue. Robert is on break. Robert?
Yeah, I've unmuted. I have a BFT, and we have 3 years of waiting for justice. Taxpayers want action, and depositors want their money. I think this is a very interesting story. Not long ago, we heard that some depositors of the defunct banks and loans and savings places were getting their money from some of the banks. But unfortunately, some people still haven't received their monies. And we are hoping that those who have their monies will receive it. I had my money with one of them, but, well, I didn't follow up because, well, time didn't allow me. But I hope that those who really need this thing would follow up and get their monies, especially those whose life savings were there. National Occupational Safety and Health Bill languishes in Cabinet for 31 years. This is serious. I think it's important that we put these things in place fast, because it's something that will help a lot of employees in their workplaces, that will ensure that people put in place measures that would ensure their safety, especially for me, well-being for staff in their workplaces, I'm sure should be looked at by employers, especially during these times of COVID-19. Dagon Peace will bring investors into Northern region. I'm still shouting out to Yana to speak on this issue of the witchcraft accusations in this period. Access Bank's Perfect Start campaign gives children a boost for the future, which is supposed to be on page 3 of the BFT. GCAA Port Health to benefit from $150 COVID-19 test cost. I mean, this cost thing, I think we should talk about it. I heard at the beginning it was so low. Now it is so high. We don't know how. Someone was giving an analysis of if 4 people of a family of 4 are coming in, you have a family of 4 coming in, which means that they are paying a huge amount of money. And I think it is about time, 1,200, I believe. And if it's about time we looked at how this impacts people who really need to come home, and when it comes to COVID-19 tests at the airport. I think I have the back page of BFT Excellence awarded to the 3rd edition of the Ghana Insurance Award. I think it's important that we give this award. Freight and petition government over freighters, petition government over extra charges. These are what I have for the BFT. Back to the studio, Roland. And
all right, sure, Robert.
Okay, what's your pick? Let me start with you, Robert.
I would do the Yana story.
I see you're making a strong appeal to the Yana to add his voice.
Yes, yes, because I think it's a very important issue, and we need the traditional leaders to play a big role in this period when we are having women, especially elderly women, being lynched and killed because they are accused of witches. And we know this thing is not something that started today. And it's been a while, and it's time that we ended it. And we are not only talking about the issue being in the northern part of Ghana. We have certain pastors and priestesses at the southern part of Ghana also calling people witches, and they are facing all sorts of abuse. And for me, it's important that we have Diana play a key role in ending this menace that is happening in our country. If not, we'll have a disaster on our hands soon when all women, when they are getting to their 60s and they are getting to their 50s and older, they start getting afraid of growing old. And we don't want that to happen. We hope that we can protect them at that stage when they get there. Yes, so that's it for me.
Great. On page 13 in the Daily Graphic newspaper, there's a story that says that rape and defilement are the abuses mostly reported by callers to the sexual and gender-based violence hotlines across the country. This is a hotline system set up by the PPAG, that's the Planned Parenthood Association of Ghana. And within the period that they've set up this hotline, they've had a lot of calls on cases of rape and defilement, and they've been sharing those experiences with the public. So the victims or survivors of the rape or defilements were usually lured with food, mobile phones, and dresses, among others. So some of the tactics that people use is what they've been sharing. They've been also training. This is the 3-day workshop supported by Canadian government and multi-party trust fund secretariat, sought to equip sexual and gender-based violence response managers to effectively manage reports that come in. So you can read on, but we know the first place that you must go or contact really is DOFSU. And they've been doing such a great job. You just need to report if there is an issue like that. If you're confronted with an issue like that, we just need you to be, you just hold on and make a report to the DOFSU. Just go to a police station and make a report and they will follow up. But you can also lay your hands on those hotlines. It's not advertised here, but in the course of, if I find the number, I would share with you. If you're going through any domestic challenges, violence related, you can reach out for some help. Roland, is there a story?
No. So that'll be for now. We have to take a break, but we have myjoyline.com. We'll quickly look at the homepage, and it's the court dismissing MTS suit against NCA over SMP declaration within the law. If we have an operator that has in excess 40% of the market, voice, data, etc., then it means that they have to kick into action sections of the Act, the Electronic Communications Act. So the NCA.
Because if the actions are justified because there's a law backing it, we have to begin to look at sources of these laws instead of wait for it to kick in and then we start making noise. Get what I mean, Roland?
Yeah, starting a long debate.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying.
Indeed, even dovetails into other areas or other sectors, but Charlie. Anyway, Roberto, thank you very much. Robert Akoto Amwafo is with Amnesty International. He's a big man. He's with us, the mercy of our time till Friday. All right, we're taking a break. We'll be right back with the latest sports stories.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the AM Sports with me, Oreku Ampofu. We do start from the local front where the Congress of the Ghana Football Association has approved monthly allowances for the leadership of the association as recommended by Frederick Moore. Now, the three-man committee proposed that President Keto Kraku will be given a monthly salary of 12,000 Ghana cedis. Vice President Makado would be taking home 7,000, and the rest of the Executive Council would be taking 4,000 Ghana cedi a month. Mufta Nabila Abdullahi was at the Congress for Joy Sports.
Time in about 8 months, members of the Ghana Football Association Congress assembled to take decisions in relation to the governance of football in the country. The build-up to this Congress was met with so many objections from other sections of the Ghana Football Association membership. However, the meeting was a success as the members who assembled here approved every single proposal that was tabled before them. Notably, amongst them is the allowances to be given to the leadership of the Ghana Football Association. The president, Kurt Edwin Simeon Okrako, would be given 12,000 Ghana cedis as his monthly allowance, and there's also going to be a sitting allowance of 1,600 Ghana cedis for him. His foreign travels is going to be $500 per diem, and there's also the other aspect of 1,000 Ghana cedis for his airtime, and local travels will cost the Ghana Football Association 600 Ghana cedis. Other nominations were also approved for other members of Congress, including his vice president. Executive Council member Randy Abbey told Joy Sports that the meeting was a success, and he believes the decisions that have been taken would have a major impact in the growth of Ghana football.
And because of COVID, we've not been able to congregate like this to deal with pertinent issues affecting our industry. And so it's a big opportunity. I've seen a lot of friends who I've not seen in a long while. And so for me, it's positive. The attendance, very, very, very impressive. The deliberations, top-notch quality. The decisions taken, I believe, will move the game forward. So very impressed, very happy, very, very excited about today.
The Minister for Youth and Sports, Isaac Esiama, called on the members that he told them the sanctity of Ghana football is only the key that is required for them to be able to attract the corporate world to invest in the game of football.
My special appeal to the Minister is that if you all believe as critical stakeholders, as decision makers, as people who call the shots in football, as people who are hugely placed to ensure that football develops, please, these three key words should guide all of us. The sanctity, the integrity, and the image of football should be protected at all times at any platform that you find yourself. It's key. When you damage the brand, it affects you. It is critical. The branding of football is your job, it's my job. We need to make the game more attractive so that we can get the kind of investment that we need, the support from corporate Ghana that we need. So I urge all of you to be guided by these three key principles.
If these things many people believe that members of the Ghana Football Association adhere to, people feel that Ghana football will be on the rise. For Joy Sports from the Ghana Soccerman Second Center of Excellence, I am Mufta Nabila Abdullahi.
Meanwhile, head of the Compensation Committee, Frederick Moore, has been defending the payments for the FA's Executive Council.
What I said as the chair was that before we decided any figures, we had a rationale and a working modality that we're going to use. We looked at the previous costs, the last 3 years' costs to the FA. We looked at a number of companies in Ghana, locally, big, small, medium, to see what they pay. 3, we also looked at other associations. We ignored Nigeria and FIFA because we thought their budget was big and it would distort it. But finally, one of the most important things that we looked at was what are the roles that these people, the president, is going to perform for us. Right. We as a committee were not looking at how much we were going to pay him. We were looking at what benefit we were going to get from him. So it's a cost-benefit analysis. And I believe, and Congress approved it, that the decisions that we made and the methodology that we used was the right one, because you don't pay people because they are there. You pay them because of the role that they are going to perform. But more importantly, when you're paying them, it has to be in context, inside what other people are getting in a similar role. But finally, we also looked at what was the impact to the budget for the coming year and the following year. And I think on the basis of the test that we did know, we met all of them. And I'm sure that's why Congress also approved it.
Remember to stay healthy and take all those nutritious foods. Time now for AM Business. On Wednesdays, we do AM Business here on the AM Show. It's brought to us kind courtesy EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Now, in search of a $100 million investment and an ambitious quest to dominate 70% of Ghana's automobile market, local car assembler Kantanka is re-strategizing to win back its market share by churning out about 500 small economic cars each month. In today's AM Business, Charles Aite, my colleague, visits the assembly plant of Kantanka. Here's more.
So many of the vehicles that Kantanka is hoping to produce massively as Ghana's automobile market sets off in huge form. And boy, oh boy, I can't believe this is an electronic car put together by the company. It's not surprising. They are meeting up demand in a week when government has instituted its automobile bill, and as well the niche automobile market, which has seen several automobile giants, VW, Toyota, Renault, and so many others, Sinotruk, come into the country to establish businesses, create jobs, and expand the Ghanaian automobile industry. But let's forget about the international giants. Let's focus once again on Ghana's local automobile market. We're talking of Kantanka. How prepared are they? Looking at the huge market share and the possibility of even going global. I'm here to find out and get the answers. I guess it's a very busy day for you guys here.
It's a very busy.
Oh, thank you very much. So is it because of the coming on board of this automobile bill?
Like I said, the bill is in, the orders keep on coming, so we have to,
I see. But one particular side of your vehicles that have caught the eye of the public has to do with the small economic vehicles. This is the first time you guys are doing that. If you could walk us through some of these vehicles, I just want to see for myself, the vehicles, the reason why you guys did it.
This is what people have been using for Uber in Ghana. And you guys can see the demand, the pressure on us to produce smaller cars is so high. We were doing, timing. We were just timing the situation, and it has coincided with the automotive policy. So this is a 0.8 liter engine capacity.
That's quite economic. Yes. You wouldn't spend much money on fuel. How much is it going for?
It's going for between 40,000 to 45,000 cedis.
I see.
Brand new, people say it's tear up. And then if you can look closely, it is really a very nice car.
Already, Kantanka has remodeled its market targets as it's now producing small economic vehicles on demand. These cars come in the range of a manual gearbox as well as an electronic automatic gearbox powered by lithium batteries.
This has 4 lithium batteries, 2 in the engine bay, and then 6 batteries anyway, 2 in the engine bay and 4 behind.
Okay.
Producing, supplying power to the 2 moving the vehicle.
Okay.
So you could see the bay is completely empty. We're comparing it to the other traditional one. You see that the engine bay is full of wires, combinations of whatever which makes the car move. You have only the battery, the brake
The brake fluid
system, the AC, and that's all.
It seems there are so many open compartments within the engine. What happens if someone drives on a dusty road? Could it affect the engine?
It wouldn't affect. There is no engine in here, so it's not going to affect anything. Okay. You just wash it, and then it's cool. It's cool to go. So we
what if someone drives to a flood?
Nothing will happen to it.
Nothing will happen to it, even if it drives to a flood.
Nothing will happen to it.
Let's go check out specimens of the vehicle. Can we say this is the first electronic vehicle that we've ever had in Ghana?
In Ghana, I can't tell anyway.
We have seen major automobile companies, including VW, already display what they have in stock with a beat-down cost. But managers of Kantanka seem not bothered.
We've not thought of them, and we are not thinking about them. We are prepared on our own terrain. It's like we are, let me put it this way. Ghana, during the World Cup, we've met Germany before, and it was like 2-2 sort of. We've beaten US in the World Cup. So since we are on our local theft, we are very ready for it.
So it means that you're not up for competition?
We are not up for competition, no. Because we've not thought of them, like I said, before we started this thing. I can say we're rather thinking about us. If Kantanka had not started, I don't think giants like VW, Toyota, Nissan would have had the taste of coming to Ghana. Proud to Kantanka. Where were they? Were they not thinking about Ghana? No. But when we started and they saw that, they've seen that the market is ripe. Africa can do something, Ghana can do something. They are coming in to assist. But we are very good. It's a very good opportune time for us because this is what's going to happen. We are going to learn from them, and they are going to learn from us. And together, we build the Ghanaian automotive industry. That's how we look at it.
But Francis, so many Ghanaians have been talking about Kantanka over the past few weeks. The fact that you never listen to the lower income earners, rather you are producing to meet the top 1%. How do you respond to this claim that Kantanka has been too expensive over the past few years?
I think that is a strategic marketing which I can't find in any marketing books anyway. If there is any, I stand to be corrected. But then, for our products to be accepted in the Ghanaian market, and then for us to get that kind of endorsement, we use the endorsement approach in marketing, where you start from the top and you allow those people who make, who matter in society to embrace your product. Then you scale it down. That's the strategy that we use.
But it tends to mean that it never worked because over the past few years we have seen the low patronage of Kantanka vehicles in Ghana. People are saying that the things are too expensive, they cannot buy. They are moving on to second-hand vehicles. So yes, your marketing strategy could have been good, but it's not really relating to the mass markets here in Ghana.
It worked perfectly for us. The reason being that, proud to the automotive policy, we were paying duty like any imported car into the country. CBUs, the duty for an assembled Kantanka car.
If successful and sustained, Ghana's niche automobile industry can sprint the country to the leagues of nations locally producing vehicles for not just local but also international consumption, a feat that will open up a new contribution to GDP in the long term.
And that's Charles Aite, my colleague with Joy Business, visiting the Kantanka assembly plant and bringing us details of that. Hope that you enjoyed it. Make a Date is on every Wednesday, brought to us by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. That's it for In Business this week.
Well, thank you for joining us once again. I hope that you did enjoy that segment. AMB is always brought to you by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. And we do know that the subject of electoral violence or violence has been experienced during elections is a main concern. Well, during the registration period, we saw a number of incidents that got stakeholders talking and featured predominantly in mainstream media, social media as well. But following an incident over the last 24 hours, we also decided, look, we need to bring back that conversation again, prep our minds as to why we are in the season of campaigning and what the responsibility of the various political actors and then politically exposed persons need to be. But in that, we also have to recall a story that Joseph Akable, one of our lead correspondents right here at Joy News, did on alleged brutalities on the Member of Parliament for the Ododo constituency. We'll bring you that story in a minute. And I'll also tell you what his concerns were, the narrations he gave us based on his experiences of the alleged brutality. Just take a watch.
All of a sudden, I saw these boys, numbered about 12, coming to the police station.
NDC MP Nilante Vanderpoel recounting the attack on him. His car is still parked in front of the Jamestown police station with the two back tires deflated. He alleges the men who attacked him were led by an individual he believes to be a national security operative.
The leader of the group is called Akpo, or One Face. He's a national security operative. Then his senior brother, Nyokai Amas, nicknamed Tenjin. Then there is Akofi, who is a boxer. Then there's Kola, who is a footballer. There is Nana. Nana is a nephew to Akpo and Nyokai Amas. Then there's Kudi. Then there's Chris, who also claimed to be a national security operative. And then others. But these are the front men, the people I really saw when I was being hit.
But you are an MP for the area,
Yeah.
and you know these individuals. Why would you think they would attack you for nothing?
Well, they've been close with the MPP parliamentary candidate all this while. During the registration sites, there were several instances where these boys were brandishing weapons, shooting discriminately, harassing people, intimidating people. In here,
This has left him in pain.
And also in my eye. You know, I've had problem with my eye in the past, so a little bit of pressure on my eye makes me a bit distant, and I'm also feeling pain in my chest where I was hit twice. But apart from that, within my spirit, I'm good.
But NPP parliamentary candidate Nilante Bannerman is disputing this narration. He says the individuals are not national security operative.
From what I gather, there are these boys who have converted from the NDC to MP. And I think they have scores to settle with the MP. That I'm not going to condone. And I've told them, if they have issues with him, they should find ways of settling it. He, as an MP, should also find ways of approaching these guys and settling whatever scores he has with them, so that these things will not be happening. This has nothing to do with NDC or MPP people clashing. No. It's purely an internal thing in the NDC that because of that, the people have even defected to the MPP.
So do you know these persons who assaulted Mr. Vanderpoel?
From the names that he alleged, I know them. If what he is saying is true, then I know the boys. Because he mentioned names, and I know the names he mentioned. And I'm telling you on authority, they are not security operatives, none of them. In fact, the only person in there who is a national security operative, he is only mentioning the person's name, but the person was not there.
The Jamestown police says it has commenced investigations into the matter.
Well, so we need to have these conversations. Is it, again, a reflection of how we are as a society, or is it just part and parcel of us when it comes to each election period? Dr. Kwame Asasante is a senior lecturer with the University of Ghana Political Science Department, and also joining us, Adam Bonham, security consultant, joining us as well, Sheikh Arimiya Shaibu, co-chair, the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers. Good morning to all of you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. We can hear you.
Great, great. Let me first start with you, Mr. Bona. What do you make of, let's say, the incident of the last 24 hours in relation to what may have transpired or has happened to the Member of Parliament for the Ododo constituency? And would you say, is it part of the concerns, the refrain that you as security people have been talking about that we need to observe during the period of elections?
Oh, yes. Good morning, and good morning to my co-panelist, Sheikh Armia, my brother, and the other panelists on the other side. And good morning to viewers. Well, you know, Roland, some of us have been advocating for some form of dialogue to have started long before today. The Odododio area, sorry, my thing fell off. The Odododio area, in terms of elections violence, this is not the first time we are seeing it. And it might not be the last time we would see it. Some of us have asked that, you know, we are one people, and Honorable Van der Foy, the last elections, there were issues here and there, you know, assault and counter assaults. And since this particular assault, you know, suspected or alleged assault of the Honorable Member of Parliament, Neil Van der Foy, my very good friend, I've received a lot of calls coming from indigents of the area, virtually threatening some of us and telling us that they know when these things happen, some of us would be the people who are called to speak to these issues. And so they are going to retaliate. And these are people I don't know from anywhere. Last night I received a good number of calls, and then before then I had received calls in the morning. And so mine is that someone would have to act quickly. And I am, you know, I'm happy you have Sheikh on the other side of the line, especially he being, you know, a clergy. He belongs to those we would have to fall on when issues are getting out of hand. Because then, whether you like it or not, the churches and the mosques are going to be open. People listen to people like him and the chief imam and, you know, the Christian council and all that. I think that some form of dialogue would have to start if it hasn't started. And the security agencies would have to act. I listened to Honorable Neil Van der Foy, I think, on, you know, this morning, and I think last night I listened to him talking, and you can see that he's in pain. And as to whether these people have been arrested, and if they haven't been arrested, then that will not be deterring enough, because then we have just about less than 100 days to the general elections, both parliamentary and presidential. If these things are not done, ensuring that people are punished when they take the laws into their own hands, then we are going to see probably an increase with regards to violence when we get to the polls. And that area, there are few things the police would have to do. But the security task force, places like that have always been in the news when it comes to elections and electoral violence. Let's put those places under siege. Let's ensure that we have, you know, heavy presence of the police, the, you know, security task force, who would have to ensure that the place is properly protected. If not, I can say I'm not being a prophet of doom, but what I've heard from the people, some of them who have called me, means that they are preparing probably for a battle in that area, which for me is not the way we should go as a nation. It's just going to the polls and casting a ballot. So this would be my initial comment, Roland.
Now, Sheikh, we do know that for the things that need to be done by way of the preparations, there need to be some key identifiable variables or actions that need to be taken. What ideally, let's say 97 days to a general election, should we have been doing, knowing that we have certain flashpoints, and even though the Dodo is just one of them? Sheikh Aremia Shaibu, this question is to you.
Thank you very much, and good morning to you and to all the viewers and my co-panelists. Really, it's unfortunate, and I think that a certain proactive position need to have been taken, knowing that there are certain places that have been identified as hotspots because of existing disputes or conflicts, which politicians could take advantage of to visit violence on political opponents. So Odododio, for example, is one of the very tensed areas approaching elections, especially even during the voter registration. You see how tension arose. And so that should have informed the security agencies within the area to begin to have put in place measures that will curtail or prevent the occurrence of incidents like this. It is very unfortunate that it has happened. Secondly, I think that we should also have initiated a certain, like my brother Bona said, dialogue between the major political parties that are dominant in the area, knowing that they are close in terms of dominance. And the competition, how fierce it is becoming, can slip into violence. And so involve them and make them accountable for any violent incident that happens in the area. That would have been very, very helpful. But Roland, let me quickly say that this is the political reflection of how inherently violent we are. Let us face it. Ghana is said to be a peaceful country, but our peace is fragile. It's not founded on rocks. It is built on sand. And that is why anytime there's something like this, the tendency or the risk is that we slip into violence as the election approaches. And we need to be given to do a lot of work, especially on the mindset of political actors, so that all political actors on the political divide must reject the mentality and the mindset of violence as a means of obtaining political power. It is important that we really get that. The preamble to the UNESCO Constitution, as I read somewhere, says that since war begins in the minds of men, it is in the mind of men that the defenses of peace must be constructed. And so, therefore, a certain long-term work needs to be done on the mindset of the ordinary Ghanaian, so that that inherent violence inside us can be transformed into more positive element that will promote our democracy. And I think on that score, we have not done so much. And this is a complete reflection of what we are seeing. And as the election approaches, we are now on tenterhooks. We just have to now be more active. Let the peaceful ones occupy the center stage and really name and shame anyone who engages in it. I expect the police to expedite their investigation and really bring to book, by way of prosecution, anyone who was found guilty. Two wrongs do not make a right. I disagree with any position that since some time ago somebody did some violence, then we must equate it by way of vengeance. Two wrongs never make a right, and anyone found culpable in this particular instance must be made to face the full rigors of the law.
This is just one instant. Dr. Asasante, if you take the flashpoints that we know, not only as stated or identified by the Electoral Commission, the security apparatus, and usually we have the police service also doing that as well, even CODEO, it means that we have identifiable areas for which we know things could be triggered. Usually, what should be the level of negotiation, if not collaboration, to ensure all politically exposed persons are coming from a certain background and so have a level playing field?
Yeah, good morning, Roland, and good morning to your viewers. This problem has been with us since time immemorial. If you go back to the history of politics in the 1950s and all that up to this time, you realize that this has been a major problem for Ghana. We have experienced electoral violence, and we continue to experience that. The inability of the states to deal with this issue head-on has brought us this far, and that is a worrying development, because you realize that more often than not, those who involve themselves in these things are, party activists, and they belong to one party or the other. And we have seen over the years that there are people from the main political parties, people in these groups who go on this type of, rampage, are not brought to book because sometimes they have their partying power. Sometimes when they are even in opposition, you touch them, there's criticism from all corners of the country and all that. And we are saying that this is a major problem that we are facing. And remember, in matters of this nature, the police is in a fix because you touch somebody, hey, how are the authorities going to respond to this? Whether incumbent or opposition, how are they going to respond to these? So police have a very difficult task in this area. But I believe that irrespective of the tax which appears to be daunting for them, I believe that the police have a way. These flashpoints have been identified over the years. So we believe that as part of their preparation towards election, we have 3 phases of election: the pre-election phase, the election phase, and the post-election phase. We believe that they are preparing themselves to ensure peaceful election in all the 3 phases. This is the pre-election phase. And now that we are seeing things of this nature, we hope and pray that it does not degenerate into other things that we don't want in the election phase and then post-election phase. So I agree with my colleagues who have said that the police must up their game and be able to deal with the perpetrators, bring them to book, and punish them. That is, if they are put before court, they are punished, and it serves as deterrent for people. And I believe strongly that most of this problem has come about as a result of the inability of the state to deal with the issue head on. That is the bottom line.
Mr. Bona, because you're a security person, straight away the question will be, well, we're ideally supposed to be having intelligence and surveillance being picked up from the ground. Is it that we're weak at it now?
Yes, we are weak at it. The truth is that we have somehow a very weak national security setup. And so if you're in a country where the national security setup is so weak, what happens is that you have hoodlums who parade, who move around in the name of, the foremost intelligence agency in the country, because the national security is supposed to be a collection of all the agencies put together under the umbrella of national security, who are supposed to be ensuring that when we sleep, we sleep. And so I am not surprised. We see some of these dastardly acts usually perpetuated in the name of national security, because according to the Honorable Member of Parliament who was assaulted, he is alleging that these young people who assaulted him, beat him up, said they work for national security. He knows them. And so national security has not come out to deny or to say otherwise, that yes, they are from our outfit or they are not from our outfit. And this is not the first time these issues have happened. You know, when Kumsin allegedly fired into the air and accepted responsibility, a police officer who came out to say, yes, the young people who were picked up were carrying firearms, even though Kumsin had come to say the young people who were firing were not carrying firearms. One was expecting that was a sharp contradiction. Kumsin, as we speak, has not been punished. The police officer who came out to speak around the Kaswanyanyano area, it is alleged has been transferred. Mine is that when these things happen, chances are that the officers who are watching and looking on, especially in the midst of COVID, how many police officers would want to be moved from their comfort zone, especially when you don't actually know which school your children are going to be going to school now, or they might be home. And so, yes, we are supposed to be picking intelligence, but the truth is that the intelligence setup in this country largely is inactive, except to say that somehow you still have the defense intelligence setup working. But when you talk about the national security, for me, I have, over the period spoken and said that the national security seems to be sleeping. And once you have a sleepy national security, chances are that maybe Kaswa, you can go to other platforms in this country. If you ask the national security, how much information have you picked up
Hello, sir, Mr. Boda. Oh, it seems to have some difficult hearing, but I think I got the conclusive part of you. Mr. Bona, I would say...
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm getting some feedback from your sound, so I would want you to leave the meeting and then rejoin. Maybe the sound will be better. We're getting some feedback. Okay, now, Dr. Sasante, have we learned any lessons at all from what transpired last January? Or no, last year, January, I have to say, the Ayawaso was Wagon, or if not February, debacle, so to speak, which led to all the scenes that we saw and the subsequent commission of inquiry and the white paper. Dr. Sasante, to this.
Strictly speaking, Roland, I would say that we have not learned any lesson, not only from Ayawaso, but we've seen electoral violence since time immemorial, before independence, after independence, this fourth republic. We have seen a lot, and we find it difficult to deal with it. But there is a way forward. There's a way forward to this problem. If we look at other jurisdictions, they go by a number of means by which they can address this. One is the issue of preparing code of conduct for political parties pre-election.
But we do have.
So that they sit down, they sign this, and then you hold their leaders to account when anything goes untoward. It's something that has worked for countries such as Cambodia and other countries in the world. Why can't we practice same? Time and again, you hear that people say, oh, we've signed this peace pact and all that. But we are not believers of what we have signed. And that is worrying. We are not honest to ourselves. But it's the issue about election. People have carried it to a certain length that I don't understand. It's about your ability to sell yourself and let people vote for you. That will influence the choice of the voter. When you go there in this type of pusher, in a violent manner, nobody wants to entrust power in the hands of somebody who is violent, because you can't even assess that person. So I want the political actors to take note of this, that if you need power, all that you need is to be able to argue your case out, sell yourself very well, so that at the end of the day, you sound convincing, you'll be able to sway voters into your side and they'll vote for you. But violence is not the way out. It will not give you anything. The best it can give you that you intimidate the people who want to give power to you, and they will never give power to you, because now is the first stage that you are looking for power and you want to threaten them. When you get power, what will happen? And nobody is interested in that. I believe, and I believe strongly, that we need to be able to step up our game, especially the National Commission for Civic Education. I have not seen effective education about peace in this pre-election phase. We want to see some of these things and done very well. We want not only NCC, but other stakeholders to preach peace. And let us be believers of what? The message that we preach. That is the only way out, because nobody can make it for us. We, as a people, we own our own destiny. And the best we can do is to be able to go to the pool quietly and then peacefully and elect those who want to lead it. I think that is the way forward.
But that's an ideal situation. Now, let's go to the Ododo constituency. It's where we have our own Manuel Cranting, just to gauge what the mood there is, and I'll also ask some relevant questions. Over to you, Manuel.
Yeah, so Roland, I'm here at Jamestown, specifically at the Jamestown Police Station. And indeed, this is the place where the event happened, if you like, the incident, the attack, the alleged attack on the Member of Parliament for the Ododo constituency, the Honorable Nilante Vanderpoel. In fact, this is what is left of his official vehicle from Parliament. Tires, best, from what we hear, attacks from the gentleman who allegedly attacked him. Well, the people here are quite tight-lipped. Nobody wants to really talk because they feel a bit, apprehensive. They feel that, well, anytime there is a build-up to election, well, these incidents are recorded. You remember that in 2012, there was an attack on the Honorable Azile Owusu. In 2016, there was a parliamentary debate organized here for the parliamentary candidates. That event degenerated into, a scuffle. People sustained knife wounds and so on and so forth. And so I've been trying to get a number of people to talk to me, on what exactly they feel about this, incessant violent incidents here in the constituency. Well, for them, in fact, some of them have been telling me that if a sitting member of parliament, can be attacked and assaulted, they feel a bit, unsafe. That what will happen to them if they were found in the same situation that you had the member of parliament, sometime yesterday. Well, I've been speaking to the police officers in charge of the case. They said that investigations currently are still ongoing, and they are unable to tell me exactly how far the investigations have gone. But I see a number of people in their homes. And Roland, as you know, day has already broken, and people are going about their normal routine. People selling and people, bathing their kids and so on and so forth. And so I tried to speak to a few of the people here. Good morning. Great. Good morning. Hey. Great. Good morning. MPA Nita say no about attackile. Okay. So Roland, as you can see, people are being really tight-lipped about the situation. I'll try to speak to a few more people. Good morning, sir. I try me Manuel into here join news. I can't BNA MPA ni tani no Nilante Vanderpoel about attackile na yile. On way.
Me bien yo. She beni incident happy. No me encash inuni ablo ninjepo. She anukwale ni yo me ina yenunga gbone yin ina ka Azile she no me beni jokwe si ne happy ni ebeli ejemuku na ke monhu no me bis aka o mini e happy. Now according to the many your area be ni sine happy am get boy te asha picture afa toilet ku ni machine na ke former and in assemblyman toilet ku ni machine mo ya asha picture ni asha picture gbekemi no ni boy say ni o je me kele boy gidi femu ake me no by this time e ba asha picture no me kele boy gidi femu na me kele ba police station ni na ba local no fi aka twa honorable ni ji MP ko ne ba ni e ba belile no le ba ni fi abele fi ake boy say kele boy gidi femu do you know na ke boy say kele fe gidi na ile yeah that is not meanly.
Well, Roland is telling me that, well, he personally didn't see the live action go down, but he heard sounds and shouts of people calling for help all the way from the police station, which is just about 50 meters from where I'm standing now. He narrates to me that the MP's cameraman went to take pictures of a completed toilet project that was constructed by the former assemblyman. And so the assemblyman asked his boys, to ask the cameraman to stop taking the pictures. That ended them up in the police station where the MP tried to bail his cameraman. And that's how come, he was assaulted there. But, okay, MP abayile bi nika MP kra ayile boni tafla cheje MP jibwe ka baba anya yibo.
Oh mokonya yimi because the way ni ona be the way na feel politics be different. Ona I feel the party. Okay mokoyina anukwale po alonu ko ko we no wana envy ko to ai ni po mokodi wana. Because the way now me feel politics be different. Because me no ni happy can ke bo ake me share embe me share because ma ke embe me share me ne wo any fege mo na ye onuji me no ma we na because let's start
okay, let's start
4 years ago bele they start le ne yana yi me gani bi ni me ne use ke yi me no ni feel na gani bi no le ne start tem ingenye ba beni million ni kegbe e ba yini la tebanama e yizo la hun ye bi en ni former ni assemblyman ile bi ye police station ni no onunji amana yi esla gani bi onunji no that's no ona ge bogame wo you no ga tona ge twatete onunji mi imbe mi she aga no ni happy sane happy esa na ga no go happy shi boje na gangbe onunji no je na gangbe ba cha no.
So Roland, he's telling me that he's not happy with the incident that went down yesterday in relation to the MP. But he alleges that all this started from the MP himself. He mentions 2012 and says that the MP had arranged for boys to go and attack the Azile Lagoon. Also mentions that in 2016, the current parliamentary candidate of the NPP, Nilanti Bannerman, was also assaulted by the sitting MP, Nilanti Vanderpoel. And so for him, what's good for the goose is also good for the gander. And so Nilanti Vanderpoel, according to the gentleman I'm speaking to, called this upon himself. He's however calling that these things are ended in a constituency. Well, ni aba fon shiki December ne. O shegbe ake magic mene ayi mene wo ayi mene nye shegbe.
O da no go ba fon le pepe. O shiki aba fon le pepe no go ba. No go vote la vote le pepe. All the time da na fiti obi egbe ko je Jamestown ko abinu tumo. Aye bo ba ke Jamestown be basa ene ke na kan ni onushi meme yemi good people yemi me yemi na me benakan onushi shi ayu ake Jamestown ene ke shi wo benakan odo benakan onushi but cash politics be e she vote mo be eni onu ne ke magia we mo jinke ni bi ne shi aba foshi ozike la ba fon le pepe no go happy.
Well, so thank you, Ofanorado. Well, he's telling me that he's confident that the election is going to happen almost event-free. He says that these things are expected. A number of these things happen every now and then, but eventually they get to go through the elections without any eventuality. I'll cross over now and speak to a few people here. Morning. Ofane ake nye MP Anita seno abayile inlege jonu
nuno gunagambo shi no me ya jamemo shi nuno gunaga
onuno kunakan sho ya ajen ake neke majani bi e bawa ke dia afon shiki keni bi
e fon ka shi esani won mo gbani na gani bi happy because e chon noya keji mbuku ni ogele pan gbe no eto ashi bo wa yile alo wa take advantage eno afi no le begwen na kan
si nakamajani be no happy o ka ke nke bo pan gbe no beto aka wa yibo
sometimes e feel to revenge ona e gole mo go fe bo no go o bo ni bo na advantage bo wa fi le ku no meji no ni ke nakamajani bi eba ona kaji so asini woden jo wo ngage shi kaji onyemi go tono ona je no twa shi bo kaji bo ona chance bo o wa fe le ku Una. No
lehi. Well, Roland, he's telling me that it's a matter of, revenge and reprisals, so that if somebody wrongs people, then when they get to their advantage, they also want to return the favor. And he's calling that these acts, be abandoned by the perpetrators and so on. Police for a dane ka afe ne anuna ka ikole amomene alomene be me ni fi ono ahie gbe no nakan.
Well, as I get back to my discussant, Sheikh, if you look at the people who live in some of these communities, the flashpoint, then the general voter population, what should be the level of engagement, Sheikh, at your level, as clergy, peace council, you as Codeo, etc., so that they then will put enormous pressure on the politically exposed person, the state actors, to do what is needful? Do I still have Sheikh? Okay. Can I make you answer that question, Ms. Adam Boda?
Please come again.
Now, we have us as voters. My colleague has just been speaking to residents of Ododudo, for example. We have many other flashpoints across the country. Then we have the rest of us, the general voter population. Ideally, what should be the sort of engagement that we needed, the Peace Council, Codeo, the rest of you, the bodies, the institutions, the individuals, so that we put enormous pressure on the politically exposed persons, the institutions, and the actors to do what is needful or right by us?
Well, I think what we should have been doing, which we haven't done so well, or we haven't done, at all, should have been, especially, we know these flashpoints, we have always known them. And we know that whatever the case is, usually in these areas, just like one of the guys who was interviewed did say, they tend to revenge. You beat me up when you were in power. When you go out of power, we have power, so we would beat you. But how much dialogue have, probably taken place? None at all, if you ask me. These are areas that one would have expected that the MP and probably his competitor, the other competitor, the PC on the side of the MPP and other political party actors in that area or in these areas are, brought together, even if it's going to be quarterly, to ensure that they understand the essence of democracy, the essence of politics. It's not about who has more muscles. It's not about who can, fight. It's about ideas, just sharing ideas. And if you go to the polls and you lose, we wish you better luck next time. Whoever wins, we congratulate you. But unfortunately, these engagements have really not taken place. I think Dr. Sasante also did raise the issue of the NCCE. Yes, if you look at how incapacitated a while ago the NCCE was, I think in recent times they have been given some number of vehicles. I'm not sure because it came out that the vehicles were that of the national security or so that were given to them to use for during the period. But how resourceful is the NCCE? Because if they are not resourceful, it becomes very difficult to go into the hinterlands or these areas and get these people to dialogue. And also, how much power do our officers in uniform, the security agents, those in uniform who are clothed with power to enforce the law, how much power do they have? Even with the issue of dialogue, they themselves within these communities should have also played lead roles when it comes to ensuring that, the contenders and people who are likely to foment trouble are forewarned that if you foment trouble, you will be arrested. And as we speak, if we go on this way, Neil Lante he mentioned some names, means that these are people they know. Why have they not been arrested? The Peace Council, I was expecting to hear the Peace Council speak. The Peace Council Secretariat or the Peace Council should have spoken. The clergy, most of these people would belong to one religious body or the other. We have the traditional council. As this conversation goes on, the democracy, this type of modern democracy came to meet the traditional setup. How much is the traditional traditional setup involved in ensuring that this type of violence is something that we doesn't become part of our politics. But somehow we haven't been able to engage these people. These people haven't engaged us as citizens, and as probably our leaders have not also gotten them, involved. Let's not wait so that when elections are coming, they have got land cruisers. Land cruisers are given to, paramount chiefs and given to lead, these traditional leaders. Let's ensure that within their jurisdiction, where there's likely to be confusion or likely to be chaos, these people are given what it takes to be able to bring the feuding parties together.
Yeah.
And remember, the traditional leaders in our communities are so powerful. They are so powerful they can make and unmake you. And so if we can use them and use them well, Rohan, what is going to happen is that some of these barbaric acts we are seeing in these communities will not happen, because then, chances are that the chief is going to summon you to his palace. You are going to be, asked to bring some rams, do this, while the law takes its course. But unfortunately, it looks like all the channels of ensuring these things are done away with in our society have not been properly used or utilized. And so that is why we are where we are today, because then the engagement probably is not taking place the way it should take place.
Okay. Dr. Sasante, I want you to have the last word. 97 days to the election, and it means that something critical needs to be undertaken. What should that be in 2 minutes?
Yes. One, they need to go to the table, have a dialogue. That is what I was saying, that you need in countries such as Cambodia and all that, they have ethics, election ethics that people go sign to it, and they review them from time to time, weekly or half a week and all that, so that any other problem that will come out within this time, they are able to address it. My colleague Bona also said about the involvement of traditional people in such a process. It's very good. It's not late. They can still begin to look at that and then implement it effectively. They should also make sure that the political education goes on effectively. You are not looking for power to destroy your society, and that there is the need for all the political actors to be able to have a certain sense of direction, that all that you want to do is look for power but in a peaceful manner. And then the voters also have a responsibility to reject people who are violent. That is the way forward. Reject those who are violent, and next time it will serve as deterrent of those who want to plunge the area into chaos.
Thank you very much. Dr. Kwame Asante, lecturer, Political Science Department, the University of Ghana, and also Chief Executive for Security Warehouse Limited, and security consultant Adam Bona helping us with the discussions. Early on, we had Sheikh Arimiao Shaibu, co-chair the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers. But we told you that we have a next conversation about the National Science and Maths Quiz. We're bringing it back from the 8th of September to 8th October 2020. This channel and the rest of the platforms in the multimedia group is where you can get the best information when it comes to that contest. What do we have for you? Mama View Sobwaje is speaking to organizers. Stay with us.
The 2020 National Science and Maths Quiz has been launched, and the race to finding a champion of science and maths is on. 108 regional qualifiers have been pitched in threes to battle for 54 slots at the 1/8 stage of the National Science and Maths Quiz. Just on Monday, I had the Managing Director of Prime Time and the quiz mistress, Dr. Elsie Effa Kaufman, in the studio to tell us about the balloting which happened yesterday and really the launch. Now, after the launch, what happens next? What are the little details that we all have to know? How do we support our schools? Stephen Yankee is NSMQ coordinator. He joins me live in studio now. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mama.
Yeah, 2020 National Science and Maths Quiz. And at the launch, there were assurances because there was a lot of calls asking if this year's NSMQ was going to happen. And indeed, I guess after the launch, we know that definitely we're hitting the road. So explain the stage that we're going to after the launch.
Well, I think that the calls that people had, we received lots of calls. People wanted to know, because of COVID-19, is the competition happening this year? But with the launch, everything is clear that this year's edition is happening. The launch was fantastic yesterday, and we took a back seat a bit when COVID-19 happened. We had been able to produce all the regional qualifiers. So schools had been selected, and we're getting ready for the championship in June and July, and then COVID-19 happened. So what we did was to relook at our program and see how we could still produce this in a very safe manner, so that everyone, both students, contestants, their teachers, the crew, can be safe. And that is what we've been able to do with approval from the Ghana Education Service. That's why we were able to ballot yesterday for the regional for the preliminary stage, which will be happening at the regional or zonal level.
Okay.
So that's where we are at the moment.
Okay, so explain the balloting, what you're seeing on your screens. This is how it went down yesterday. Explain the format to us.
Yeah, so what happens is that ordinarily the schools will come to Accra, all 108 schools to participate in the prelims will come to Accra, where they would ballot for 36 contests and compete with the 36 winners and 18 highest scoring losing schools. Now we call them top runners up, progressing to the 1A stage. But because schools are not coming to Accra, we had concerns over maybe a possible spread of the virus. So in a bid to eliminate that, we are rather taking the competition to the regions or the zones this time. Now what we are doing is that schools that qualify from the various regions will be competing amongst themselves for slots at the 1A stage. So what you just saw was the balloting system. What we have been doing over the last couple of years is to group schools into pots based on their scores.
Okay.
So in every region, we grouped the schools into 3 pots based on the scores that they attained at the regional qualifiers. So top performance from every region or zone were in pot A, the next set of schools in pot B, and the third set in pot C.
Okay.
So in every contest, you are going to have a school from pot A, pot B, and pot C.
Okay.
But what happens
Competes against themselves.
Yes. And what will happen is that in some regions, it's possible to have only 2 schools in the final contest, or only 1 school. What will happen in that case is that we'll have either 1 or 2 top runners up from the previous contest filling those slots.
Okay.
So take Greater Accra, for instance. We have 8 schools over there. The first 2 contests, we have 3 schools. That's the regular format. But in the final contest, we have 2 schools. That third slot will be filled by the top runner-up from the 2 contests, who will rank the scores of the losing schools, and the topmost school will take up that final slot.
Okay. All right. How many schools will qualify for the next stage?
So there are 40 contests in all. 40 winners will qualify, and then we would rank scores of all those that would lose and select the top 14 among the runners-up to also progress. So 54 schools will progress to the 1A stage of the competition.
When will the competitions be held? And as I was told on Monday, there will not be an audience like we've seen with the previous competitions. So what's the plan to get some, I don't know if I should put it, supporters or some kind of vibe going on so that the contest will be exciting? They will know that they have people supporting them.
Yeah, so what we have done is to allow the competing schools to come with their teachers. So competing schools will come with 2 teachers on the day of competition.
Okay.
And along with their 3 contestants, they would be in the auditorium. In fact, for the regional qualifiers that are competing at the prelims, all the schools that are competing every day will be the audience for that day, along with the crew. And that is, again, to limit the number of people that will be there and limit a potential for the spread of the virus. But to make up for the loss of a live audience, we are going to be streaming all the 40 contests live on our Facebook page. So our fans don't have to worry at all. Once you are online, you can watch all the contests live on our Facebook, YouTube page, our Twitter page, at NSMQ Ghana. All the contests will be there live.
And of course, also on Joy News.
Yeah.
So let's go through at the preliminary stage some of the schools that we will be seeing. Take us through.
Yes.
This is Greater Accra region.
Yes, so in the Greater Accra region, the very first contest features Ganata Senior High School, St. Thomas Aquinas Senior High School, and St. Mary's Senior High School. Ganata Senior High School, they were eliminated by Azile College at the 1A stage last year. We have St. Thomas Aquinas, who also lost to Achimota School in 2019. And then St. Mary's, having been at the Nationals in a while. So they are launching a comeback after a break at the national level.
Okay.
The second contest would have Tema Methodist Senior High School up against Holy Trinity Cathedral and Our Lady of Mercy Senior High School. And then the final contest will have...
It's one of interest because there's West Africa.
Yes. You know, West Africa were finalists in 2018, but in 2019, they lost out at the 1A stage to Takrady Senior High School. So that's why they have to go back and start from the preliminary stage.
Okay, but why do we have just 2 schools there?
Yes, so that third slot will be filled by one highest runner-up from the first and second contest.
Okay.
So, you know, from the first contest, 1 school wins. The second contest, 1 school wins. Of the 4 schools that will not win, the one with the highest score would have another opportunity to compete in this contest.
All right, great. So this is how Greater Accra looks like.
Yes.
Okay, so in the end, we'll have 3 schools come out of Greater Accra region.
Progressing to the next stage.
Okay, the next is the Western Zone.
Yeah, so the Western Zone, we have Archbishop Porter Girls Senior High School up against Ahantaman Girls Senior High School and Bibiani Senior High Technical School. We have Archbishop Porter Girls, they were eliminated by St. John's School at the 1A stage last year. Ahantaman Girls also lost to Edinaman at the prelims last year. For Bibiani, they haven't been at the nationals in about 4 or so years. So they are also launching a comeback. Then the second contest, we have Takwa Senior High School. They are up against St. Mary's Boys Senior High School. They lost out at the prelims last year. And Bia Senior High Technical School qualifying for the very first time. And then we have the third contest in Science Senior High School and Bompe Senior High Technical School.
Okay. The situation is similar to what's in the Greater Accra region scenario.
Exactly.
Okay. So in the end, we also have 3 schools coming out from the Western Zone. Let's move to another fixture. I guess that will be interesting to watch. The Central region.
Yeah, so Central region is where lots of people have their eyes on. Because, you know, in the very first contest, we have Infanspin School, 2-time champions of the National Science and Math Quiz. They lost out last year to St. Augustine's College at the 1A stage.
So I was just going to ask, why is Infanspin not seeded?
Yeah, you know, last year they suffered a big defeat.
Say we.
They suffered a massive defeat at the 1A stage. They lost to St. Augustine's College, but you know, they lost to the champions. And in fact, that wasn't the end. They went to lose again to St. Augustine's College at the regional championships that were held. So they will be up against Apam Senior High School and Eguafo Abrim Senior High School. This promises to be a cracker because, you know, Apam Senior High School is also a really big school when it comes to the SMQ in the Central region. And it promises to be very exciting. The second contest there, we have Swedro Senior High School. They also lost to St. Augustine's at the 1A stage last year. They will be facing Agri Memorial Senior High School. They didn't qualify in 2019. And also Holy Child School in that contest, they lost their seed last year to Kumasi Academy. So that will be the fixtures for the second contest.
Okay.
In the third contest, we have Ghana National College. They lost to St. John's Grammar last year, up against Asin State Senior High School and TIMR Sporting. Now, the interesting thing here is that Asin State Senior High School, they were represented by 2 Form 2 students in 2019. Now, 2019, they eliminated Agri Memorial at the regionals. That's how come Agri Memorial did not make it to the national championship last year. So this year also, now the contestants are in Form 3. This year, they were able to eliminate Infantiman Girls.
Wow.
So, in fact, it's going to be a really exciting contest.
So these 2 students will see the same students again because now they're in Form 3?
Yes.
Okay, great.
So it promises to be a very exciting contest. Ghana National, Asin State, and TIMR Sporting.
Okay. Why do we have Winneba there?
Yeah, so in this contest, the last contest in the Central region, we'll have Winneba Senior High School, and we have 2 vacant slots. So we are going to have 2 top performing losing schools or 2 top runners up filling those slots. So that contest can also be complete.
Okay. There's a school to watch, which is Apam Senior High, I guess in this context this year, because of how well they did last year. And Infantipim, will this be the end? This is the first time Infantipim is in a stage like this, competing at this level. So we'll get to see the schools that will come out successful. I see Holy Child as well, but that's a tough one.
Yes, very tough. It promises to be very exciting, and I think that it's one contest that our fans can watch live on our platforms and also enjoy news.
So this is 11 September. What time does this begin?
So the contest will start at 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 3 p.m.
Okay.
Where we have 4 contests.
All right.
But where it's only 3 contests per day, we have 9 a.m., 11 a.m., and 1:30 p.m.
Let's go to the Western Zone. I see. No, we've been here.
Yes, we've been here.
We've been to the Western Zone already. And then we went to the Central region. So let's go to the Volta and OT regions. My school did extremely well last year.
Which school is that again?
Zion College, of course.
Great Zico.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. So in the first contest in the Volta OT zone, we have Sunrise Senior High School. They were eliminated at the prelims last year by Pope John Senior High School. They will face Bakpo Senior High School and Adidome Senior High School in the first contest. The second contest will have Mauli School. They lost their seat to GSTS in the 1A stage last year, up against Chito Senior High Technical School and Jojepenyi Senior High School. Then the third contest, we have Ola Senior High School Ho against Kejebi Asato Senior High School and Oti Senior High Technical School. The fourth contest, we have Bishop Herman College against Anlo Senior High School and Bueman Senior High School. The fifth contest, we have St. Mary's Senior High School, Lolobi. They lost out at the prelims, the very first contest last year. They lost to Chemu Senior High School. They will be up against Zion College. Zion College. But you know, Zion, did you say they did extremely well last year? Because, you know,
what can I say? I mean, I still have to be proud of my school, right?
Yes. In fact, well, they did well in qualifying to the prelims.
Yeah.
Only that they lost out to GSTS at the prelims.
Yeah, that's not good enough, actually.
But this year, hopefully, because it's at the regional level or the zonal level, hopefully they can beat St. Mary's Lolobi and Akachi Senior High Technical School.
We'll see how that goes. I didn't see Bishop Herman.
Bishop Herman is in the fourth contest in the Volta OT zone. Bishop Herman versus Anglo Senior High School and Bueman Senior High School.
Okay, great. So that's the picture for the Volta OT region as well. These are interesting fixtures if you like, interesting competitions that we're looking forward to in this year's National Science and Maths Quiz. Is there another interesting? Okay, Northern, I guess. Let's go to the Northern.
So in the Northern Zone, the Northern Zone is made up of Upper West region, Upper East region, Northern, Northeast, and the Savannah regions. Now, the very first contest there, we have Zabzugu Senior High School. They were the second best runner-up in the regionals, of the schools that lost out at the regionals. They had the second highest score. So they got the opportunity to come into the competition again. Now, Zabzugu Senior High School will be facing Ambaria Senior High School and Gori Senior High Technical School. And the second contest, we have Tamale Girls Senior High School. They last qualified in 2018. They face St. Francis Xavier Junior Seminary.
That's a school to watch, definitely.
Yeah. But Tamale Girls, a school to watch in this contest.
Great.
Yeah, a school to watch in this contest.
Okay.
And they will be facing Zamsi Senior High Technical School as well. The third contest, we have Wale Senior High Technical School. They lost to St. Augustine's last year at the prelims. They face St. Charles Minor Seminary. They also last qualified in 2018. And Damango Senior High School, they also last qualified in 2016. So that promises to be an exciting contest. But I think the best contest we should look out for from the Northern Zone should be the contest for Sandema Senior High Technical School.
Oh, I remember Sandema.
Yes, Bolgatanga Senior High School and Navrongo Senior High School.
These are three great schools.
Yes, from the Upper
They would
East
give us a good competition. I don't know why they're competing amongst themselves, though.
It's the ballot. So this is an Upper East derby.
This is not fair, is it?
But you know, apart from the 40 winners, we also have room for 14 top runners-up.
Okay.
So it's possible that in some contests, if the scores are high enough, all three schools could even qualify to the next stage.
Well, I see that possible. Even with the third competition, there's still a slot for a school that performs really well and gets a good score.
Yes. So the fifth contest there, Notre Dame Seminary, Viting Senior High, and Wa Technical Institute qualifying for the first time. Now, in the sixth contest, we have Northern School of Business. They had the highest qualifying score in the Northern Zone.
Okay.
So we have two slots over there. Actually, two slots there for two top performing schools to also progress to the next stage.
Well, who knows? Your favorite from the Northern Zone will just make it, even if they don't necessarily win their contest.
So the point is that even if you are losing, lose honorably, lose with high scores, and that could be your trump card to the next stage of the competition.
Fantastic. Okay, so is there any other zone that we haven't visited?
Yes, Eastern region, and then the Ashanti region.
Okay.
So in the Eastern region, the very first contest there, it features Asamankese Senior High School, Ebri Presby Senior High School. They last qualified in 2017. This year, they beat Krobo Girls at the regionals. They also have Edu Krom Presby in the contest. The second contest will feature Ofori-Penning Senior High School, Presby SHS Abetifi, and Ebuakwa State College. Interesting contest there. The third contest there, we have St. Martin Senior High School. They last qualified in 2018, up against Adontin Senior High School and Nkwetia Presby Senior High School. And an interesting one, Koforidua Sectec, against Benkum Senior High School and WBM Zion.
Okay.
It promises to be exciting too. We have Osino Presby SHS, Akuman Senior High School, and Oyoko Methodist in the fifth contest. And then St. Rose's, they haven't qualified since 2016.
I haven't seen them feature in a very long while.
Since 2016. So they are in this contest, and they will be joined by 2 top runners-up.
Okay.
In this contest.
Where's Pope John? Seeded?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And St. Peter's?
Seeded as well. Yeah, finalist last year. It is written.
Yeah.
But
he's coming back yes. Because he was informed too then. Okay.
I'm sure now he would give us a lot more quotations from the Bible.
Okay, we've got one final school to go. So this contest will be on the 15th of September. That's mid-month. Yes. A final school to visit. So, a final region, actually. So we have the Bono Ahafu zone and the Ashanti. Okay. So let's quickly do the Bono Ahafu zone. In the first contest there, we have Brekum Senior High School, Preseg Bechim, and Ekumfia Meyao Senior High School. The second contest there, we have Our Lady of Mount Carmel girls. They scored 73 points at the regional qualifiers, the third highest score nationwide. That's an honorable loss.
And they won with 73 points.
Oh, okay.
And they were also informed too, that the ladies were informed too last year. All three of them were informed too. So now they are coming back as Form 3 girls.
Fantastic.
And I think that we should look out for them. We haven't had a school from the Bono Ahafu zone making it to the quarterfinals in a long while.
I'll be rooting for them.
Yeah, so probably they could do the magic this time. They face Achirensua Senior High. They haven't qualified since 2015, and MIM Senior High School. The third contest there, we have Notre Dame Girls Senior High School against Sacred Heart and Odumasiman first-timers. In the fourth contest, Kintampo Senior High School, Techiman Senior High School, and Drobo Senior High School. And the final contest, Sunyan Senior High School, they had the highest score nationwide. They had same points as Anglican Senior High School, 75 points.
Okay.
So they will be joined by 2 top runners-up in the region.
Okay.
And then the Ashanti
Almighty region. Ashanti.
Yes, all eyes on Ashanti. The first contest over there, we have Kumasi Senior High Technical School. They beat Yasantua girls, actually, this time at the regionals. They face Agogo State College. Agogo State was disqualified last year. So they are up against Kumasi Senior High Technical and Islamic Senior High School. In the second contest, we will have Osai Tutu Senior High School, Efiduasi Senior High Commercial School, and Jachi Pramso Senior High School. The third contest, KNUS Kumasi High School, and St. Mary's Girls Senior High School. That's a first timer also there.
Okay.
And the fourth contest is very exciting, very interesting fixture. St. Hubert Seminary, Asantiman Senior High School, and Ifua Kubiampim Girls. Now, St. Hubert last qualified in 2018. This time at the regional qualifiers, they faced Asantiman again. And they beat Asantiman 52 points to 47. But because we had some vacant slots, that is how come Zabzugu came and Asantiman also came in.
Okay.
So this promises to be a revenge or a repeat of what happened in Kumasi during the regional qualifiers. The fifth contest, we have Adventist Senior High School, Bantama, against Ejusuman Senior High School and SDA Bekwai. The sixth contest would have Armed Forces Senior High Technical School, St. Monica Senior High School, and Sim Senior High School. And then the final contest, Kumasi Anglican Senior High School. They were informed too last year as well.
And they also got the highest score in coming to this.
Yes.
So we will see their students also appear.
Exactly.
Because now they are informed 3.
Yes. And last year at the 1A stage, they lost to Opokuwari School by a single point. Just 1 point.
That one is always painful.
Yes, very painful. Now this year they are coming back 75 points from the regionals. They face Insutaman Catholic and Edu Jemfi Senior High School.
Okay. All right. So that's how it looks for some of the competitions. Well, the 15th and the 18th, it will take a while. But we've got early competitions, and we'll bring you coverage of all that on Joy News. Also follow on all the social media handles. Sure. Stephen, anything else you want to say just before we wrap up? Now that we're familiar with the schools that will be competing, the 27 schools, I guess in due course, will get our viewers to familiarize themselves with those who are seeded, those who will not be competing in this round.
So I think that everything is set for the competition. We are going live from the 8th of September to the 18th.
That's just on Tuesday.
Yes, that's just on Tuesday. And we're excited because we've missed the NSMQ. Usually it's in June and July. But because of COVID-19, now it's in September. But it's better late than never.
Yeah, absolutely.
This time also, we have really exciting prizes. The Money Zone is back this time, sponsored by our partner, Absa Bank Ghana. So from the quarterfinals, a point to be worth 10 Ghana cedis. At the semi-finals, it's 15 Ghana cedis. And at the grand finale, it's 25 Ghana cedis. We also have, again, the Prudential Life NSMQ Star, 10 out of 10 in the problem of the day. There are points, there are prizes to be won, cash prizes to the contestants and their teachers from prelims all the way to the finals. We also have the Goyle Riddle Bonanza. You score 3 or 4 riddles correctly, and there are fantastic prizes to be won from Goyle as well.
All right. There's plenty more to learn about the NSMQ, and we will definitely be updating you. I want to also remind you that our coverage here on Joy News is brought to us by DBS Industries Limited and Bright Senior High School. So our world is a complex one, and in it, only the smart and intelligent win at Bright Senior High School, Kokrontumi. We know this. It's the reason we have deployed state-of-the-art facilities and highly qualified teachers to train and groom the next generation of candidates for our universities in the future. Students are engaged within well-equipped classrooms, computer and science laboratories. That's not all. We have got the facilities to ensure quality recreation at Bright Senior High School. Every student is a priority. So we pay attention to every one of them to address their individual academic needs. Admissions have begun for first and senior year students. We also offer O and A levels, SAT and TOEFL. Forms are available at GCB Bank and Zenith Bank branches across the country. For inquiries, kindly call 0277 147 727 or 0242 071 185. Email admissions at brightshs.com or visit the website brightshs.com. Bright Senior High School, building dreams, shaping the future. And of course, DBS, after several years of intensive research, DBS Industries Limited brings you ColorLink Plus roofing sheets to help complete your dream house in style. Experience the amazing touch of ColorLink Plus roofing sheets in 25 years, which means ColorLink Plus roofing sheets always stay clean and beautiful for you. And there's more. We're giving you a whopping 20 years warranty against fading and peeling. On top, DBS Industries will also give you a warranty certificate as a seal of our 20-year warranty agreement. So go and get ColorLink Plus roofing sheets to complete your dream home today. Remember, always look out for the ColorLink imprint on our roofing sheets for validation. Visit DBS Industries Limited in Accra on the Spintex Road in the DBS building near Papaya Restaurant, or call the hotline 0543 286 6371. Visit the other factories in Kumasi, Tamale. DBS Industries Limited, we truly are your roof experts. We'll tell you more about our sponsors in the course of our coverage of the NSMQ. We've got show business news coming up just before we wrap up. This is Stephen. We'll continue our conversation on the NSMQ. Definitely.
Thank you to our sponsors.
In 30 seconds.
Sure. So we want to say a big thank you to the Ghana Education Service, main sponsor of the Ghana, the National Science and Math Quiz. They've been our backbone, and we really appreciate that. Our partner this year, Absa Bank, we are also grateful for all their support, and also to Joy News, to Prudential Life Insurance, Goyle, Airtel, Tigo, Dano Milk, Accra College of Medicine, Academic City College, Central University, GTP, Adanse Travels, Medifem, Third Eye Care, and Vision Center. We are grateful for all the support.
All right, we'll get you to familiarize yourselves with our supporters. Stay with us. We've got one more thing before we wrap up.